everybody, welcome back to the Blizzard ANZ StarCraft 2 Pro League, brought to you by GameStar. I'm Zev, with me is Insano, and we're about to hop into the fourth map for the night on Ascension to Aya. It's actually match point for Downfall at this point, which is pretty awesome for them, having really strong performances both nights that we've seen them so far. So tell us about this next match, Insano.
Next match, I definitely would say, even though he's in the fourth match, he's very much the final boss here of 1F Pro. Yours, such a strong Zerg over the last few months, and it's going to be a tough job for Pezz here, but I'd like to see what Pezz is going to do. The hive mind of Protoss, what have they got planned?
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, we were just talking a little bit in the break about yours, who's just gotten so good out of nowhere. Confirmed best WCS interview. If you haven't seen that, I'm sure it's on YouTube somewhere. But from the last seasons, he's a real character, and it seems like he doesn't take this game very seriously, but somehow he's like actually super good at it. So that's a pretty cool thing to see. There's actually a lot of guys in our scene like that are sort of like, yeah, we play it for fun, don't take it too seriously, and then they just casually knock out some really good players. So pretty awesome to see yours here.
Yep.
On that 1F Pro roster. And if you watched last night's broadcast, you will have seen us talk at length about Pezz. Old school guy, still fantastic player. Went up against Fuely, I think it was, and did put a win on the board there. So can he do it against yours?
Yeah, Pezz kind of reminiscent a bit of Bliss play. They were like very into their Blink Stalkerish play. And then maybe some mixing a bit of Proxy Stargate here and there. So Pezz, he's been away for a while. He's been working his way back up in the shadows.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see what he's going to bring to the table here on Ascension to Aya.
Let's find out, man. Let's start it up. Ascension to Aya. Pretty good map. Everyone's comfy on it at this point. Pretty big map, actually, with about 1 billion paths to your base, which can complicate things a little bit. So keen to see how Pezz goes up against a Zerg, who I think probably generally hasn't had to play too many Protosses, at least in the Blizzard leagues that we watched. So see what these guys have to offer. We are loaded in to Ascension to Aya, starting up in the top left here in the green trunks. Representing 1F Pro, this is yours.
The Ziz Zerg. And down in the bottom right, we have our purple Protoss of Downfall rep in the colours. It is Pezz.
That's it, man. And you know what? I'm not sure I've seen yours play since WCS. Have you watched any of these matches?
I've seen a couple of his matches when he plays SYF players in the PSL, and he's definitely no slouch. Absolutely no.
Cool. Yeah, I'm hoping to see good things out of this guy in 2018. And I suppose similarly, Pezz. I don't know if this is like his next return to the pro scene or not, but I'd love to see him pop up into the WCSs as well, because this is a dude that could definitely make round of 16 if he's in form. At which point we would get to see a lot more of him on stage for live events if they happen, or a little bit more of those sort of like more personal interviews that we've been getting from the players, which is pretty awesome. But I guess we'll see what happens. Hatch first here from yours, followed by a gas and pool. And what do we got going over in Pezz Town?
Pezz Town just opening up very standard Gate, Nexus, Cybercore, and it'll be interesting to see what is. I'm pretty much expecting a Twilight Cancel first here out of Pezz, just kind of a stylistic thing out of him. But I mean, that could be something that he might think yours might read into and open up with a Stargate. We never know.
Yeah. See what he pops out. I mean, Protoss is a bit of a mixed bag at the moment. Stargate's been like a popular opener forever, but so have Adepts. So both those are still pretty solid choices. We have seen, as we mentioned earlier, a bit more of that DT play. And I think this is actually a really nice map for that sort of harassment style, because the main is pretty far away from the third base if you take the southern one, and even the one kind of next to the main isn't the easiest thing to defend in the world. So I really do like those sort of Warp Prism tactics, or those couple of adepts in different places shading all over the place. It can get really hard for the Zerg to defend that sort of play.
Yeah, and for the Zerg as well, the gap between the third base and the natural is quite far. So connecting up the creep, if you can get some kind of early gateway play, get the queens off creep, and maybe snipe them, it's definitely a very viable play out of the Protoss here. But he's going to open up with the Stargate here.
Okay. Well, Stargate, good choice. Yours, with these slippery links, does manage to scatter. That's what's going to be coming at him, so he'll be expecting probably the Oracle there. That's generally what will pop out. At the same time, we do have a couple of adepts shading into the main from Pezz. He in fact finishes the shade, and he's going to try and target down a couple of drones in that main mineral line there before he gets taken out by these lings. Does manage himself 5 kills.
Yeah, quite nice there. And Pezz, sorry, yours actually almost killed the pylon on the Stargate there. Pezz actually, I think, had to defend with some probes.
Looks like he did, actually, but so far so good. I can't believe that pylon got as low as it did, but he keeps it happening, and he's actually going to follow up with a Phoenix. That's going to be really helpful to clean up the initial overlords. We'll see if he keeps committing to the Phoenix after this, or if he's just going to make the one to clear up that airspace.
Yeah, not too sure, but the spores are starting to come down. Yours feels like that pylon must have been still over that third base. Takes the one below the main, and this is going to kind of open up a few pathways here for Pezz when it comes to this robotics facility. He could split up and just kind of keep moving stuff between the third and the main with a warp prism. And it's just really hard for the queens to deal with, getting all the way up around to the main base and all the way back down around to the third if he keeps splitting it up.
Yeah, for sure. And the good thing for Pezz, yours rather, is that he's already started that crease spread, so he's linked the third base there already. Going to make that much easier to defend. His Roach Warren is just finished up as well, to a similar timing of when Pezz's Robo finishes up. So he should have plenty of units accessible to him by the time this Warp Prism is out and about and starting to wreak some havoc over in Zerg territory. And in the meantime, we do see Pezz starting to drop a bit more production and tech.
Yeah, a big gateway burst coming out here. Warp Prism on the way. It looks like we're going to see a bit of an aggressive Pezz come out. And what have we got? We've got 7 gates in total. No sight of a third base just yet. Twilight Council with charge on the way.
Okay, I was really expecting to see a third base go down here. And you can see yours sort of looking for that as well. He's popped a Ling over there. He's swung an Overlord near there and going like, okay, is it going to go down or what? Because he's getting a little bit antsy. And if we look at yours as third base, he hasn't made any drones to saturate that.
Other than the third base, yeah. Look at the middle of the map. We've got the Queen conga line going on down here through the middle of the map. Ravages in tow. Yeah, yours wants to end the game now.
And I'm not sure that Pezz has actually scouted what's been going on at that third base, or he would have seen that units are being made instead of these workers, and he is at the front door. He's going to knock down the pylon. The shield battery's already out of energy, and he unpowers so many structures at the front there. 4
gateways, Robo, all unpowered from that one pylon. Another pylon about to fall as well. Oh, man.
Yeah,
this is going to hurt. Warp Prism goes up into the main with an Archon. He's going to see what he can get done up in the other side of the map with a bit of a base trade situation now. He knows there's not too much on the other side to defend, but oh man, even more gateways going down.
Oh no, that's not a good sign when you're trying to base trade a Zerg who has a fair bit more than you on the front lines here. You see the Ravagers retreating out here, a few Lings fighting those probes as well to try and make sure they don't escape. We have a third base at Nexus coming up, and Pezz has also lifted up a Warp Prism full of probes to try and conserve some of those units. But back at home, yours is actually going okay against this attack. He has lost an extreme amount of workers, almost up to 40 workers killed here.
Yeah, yours, if you look at the unit count right now, yours is down to 3 workers.
Yeah, he's not looking too crash hot in that department. Luckily, he does have a few minerals, so if he can clean up this force from Pezz, he can just make a round of drones, and he'll still have a fair chunk of army to continue to play with and defend with if he needs to, because it looks like he's having a lot of trouble killing these final 2 Archons.
Yeah, some nice control there from Pezz, but the Ravagers coming back in to try and kill off the rest of this tech hit. Pezz down to his last few workers as well. Where's that Warp Prism? GG! Pulled out there from Pezz in the end, and Zeph,
Wow.
we're tied up 2-2 here.
You what? That's pretty awesome. We get to see another ace match in this team league. We've actually been so blessed with really even series here, so that's awesome to see that these guys have taken it to the 5th and final map, and of course being the ace match. Typically we don't know who the players are, and in fact we still don't because it's Abyssal Reef. We haven't watched the replays, so let's make that lobby and see who this match is actually going to be between.
Yeah,
I don't even know who you throw out here. I'm gonna take a wild guess and go like maybe a Blisk versus Mia Michael.
pretty good guess. You could also put even yours out. Yours looked very strong there against Pezz.
He did.
And Blisk obviously playing very, very strong, and probably expecting a Zerg coming out from 1F Pro. Pretty much obvious. A Zerg will probably come out from 1F Pro. So yeah, we could definitely see most likely Blisk come out, I reckon, with the strongest PVZ.